Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has embarked on a visit to Vietnam and Cambodia. Speculations have been made about the timing of the visit as the government is preparing for budget announcement. Given that Nepal has not shared much business and cultural links with these two Southeast Asian countries in the past, the onus is on Prime Minister Oli to make his visit fruitful and significant. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama and these are the top stories of the hour. Bill on further clipping press freedom tabled at the Parliament through behind doors. The very intent of the government under scrutiny. Premier Oli to sign an agreement paving way to direct flight with Vietnam. Government claims the visit a milestone to increase Buddhist tourists in Nepal. At least 378 mountaineers from some 48 countries on Mount Everest expedition this season. Avalanches nearby Everest base camp gave way to panic among the climbers. And Chelsea defeats Frankfurt and Arsenal brushes aside Valencia in the Europa Cup semi-finals. Chelsea and Arsenal to clash in the title decider. We'll start with the latest national political updates. Opinion of the public and the stakeholder communities must be considered while formulating laws of massive public interest. However, the law directly related with the transparency of public departments, their accountability and the right for public information is being taken to the Parliament from behind the doors. The government has quietly registered a bill related to Nepal Media Council at the Parliament Secretariat yesterday. The ministerial portfolio took the issue directly related to the transparency of public departments, their accountability and the right to public information to the Parliament Secretariat through the Law Ministry and the Council of Ministers. The bill has provisioned a fine up to 1 million rupees against journalists writing news against the Journalism Code of Conduct. However, a weak provision has been proposed for appointment of the Council's chairman. If the bill is endorsed intact, doors will open for any journalist with the experience of 10 years to be appointed as the chairman of the council. The Ministry for Information and Communications has not held any discussions with stakeholders regarding the integrating law for the Working Journalists Act, Press and Publication Act and the National Broadcasting Act as well. The government is in the final phase to take this bill to the Parliament as well. Media should obviously be monitored. However, the government's silent approach in formulating laws by ignoring the basic denominators of democracy in the name of monitoring and strengthening its grip over media has raised questions on its intent. Now, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has embarked on a tour to Vietnam and Cambodia, the two countries with huge Buddhist followers. The government has informed that the Prime Minister's visit of the Southeast Asian nations will focus on the promotion of tourism and cultural exchange. It remains to be seen if the Prime Minister's visit of these nations would facilitate an increase in the flow of Buddhist followers in Nepal. Prime Minister Oli reached Hanoi yesterday evening for the state visit of Vietnam at the official invitation of his counterpart, Nguyen Xuan Phuc. Along with the bilateral talks, Oli is scheduled to attend the International Baisak Day. The day, which is celebrated amid much fanfare by the Buddhist followers, offers a great opportunity for Nepal to promote Lumbini, the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. Vietnam ranks among 15 nations with the highest number of tourists in Nepal, as according to Department of Immigration, around 1,500 Vietnamese tourists visit Nepal every month. Likewise, around 300 Cambodian tourists visit Nepal every month. The Prime Minister's schedule includes agreement with Vietnam for a direct flight with Nepal and tourism promotion agreement with Cambodia. Prime Minister Oli can convey the message of possibilities of directly landing at the international airport near Lumbini, which is in near completion. Premier Oli is also scheduled to hold parleys with his Cambodian counterpart Hun Sen and the chairman of their National Assembly and Senate. The outcome of Prime Minister Oli's visit to Vietnam and Cambodia with his jumbo squad of 42 members will only be seen in due course of time. Now, industrialists and entrepreneurs have urged the government to introduce a budget which would increase investments in productive sectors. Speaking at the interaction program organized by the Finance Committee of House of Representatives in Kathmandu yesterday, industrialists and entrepreneurs said that there was no alternative to increasing output to reduce the increasing trade deficit and urged for introduction of programs that would increase agriculture produce and export of goods. They suggested the government to remove the double taxation system, provide subsidies in export goods and sharpen the bureaucratic mechanism so as to motivate the investors. The Finance Ministry has said that the upcoming budget will try and include the suggestions from all stakeholders. The Finance Committee, which previously held discussions at the provincial levels, had organized yesterday's interaction at a hotel in Kathmandu to seek suggestions from the business community. At least 378 mountaineers from some 48 countries have taken permission for Mount Everest expedition this season. Many among them have already made their way to Everest Base Camp and above. However, incidents of avalanches nearby the base camp has given way to some panic among the climbers. Gyanendra Shrestha, the contract officer at Everest, posted several pictures of avalanches nearby Everest Base Camp last Tuesday on his Facebook account. The photos instantly became viral, also giving way to speculations whether the global warming is taking its toll on the blanket of snow on the Himalayan region. A recent study by International Center for Mountain Development, ICIMOD, says that if the global warming continues, 36% of snow will have melted down, and if the global temperature exceeds, it will account for 50% of the Himalayan snow by the end of this century. It may be recalled that 16 Sherpas had perished in avalanches that occurred near Khumbu Icefall 5 years ago. Experts in the sector feel that the 2015 April earthquake had further weakened the region's bases, giving rise to fears of more avalanches. Nepal does not have special equipment to predict such natural disasters such as avalanches, prompting fears that unfortunate incidents of that kind can give way to massive calamities. And time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, what's your take on the local levels increasing taxes by up to 800%? Your options are A, random decision, B, burden on the public, and C, compulsion to increase revenue. The voting for that question is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And with that, it's now time for the sports update.
Sports news.
English clubs Chelsea and Arsenal have advanced to the finals of Europa League. Chelsea defeated Eintracht Frankfurt 4-3 on penalties after an aggregate score of 2-2, while Arsenal brushed aside Valencia 7-3 on aggregate in the other semi-final. Chelsea and Frankfurt had played a 1-1 draw in the first leg semi-final. The second leg semi-final, played at Chelsea's home ground Stamford Bridge last night, also ended with the identical score of 1-1. Ruben Loftus-Cheek scored in the 28th minute to give Chelsea a 1-0 lead. In the second half, Luka Jovic scored for Frankfurt in the 49th minute to level the match at 1-1. Since the match ended in a draw after 90 minutes of regulation play and the aggregate score was also tied at 2-2, the semi-final match had to be decided through a penalty shootout. Chelsea were under pressure after Cesar Azpilicueta's spot was saved by Frankfurt goalkeeper. But Chelsea goalkeeper Kepa saved 2 penalty kicks by Frankfurt to put them on the top. Eden Hazard scored the winning goal in the penalty shootout to send Chelsea to the Europa Cup finals. In another second leg semi-final played last night, Arsenal defeated Valencia 4-2 to make it a 7-3 aggregate win, as Arsenal had won 3-1 in the first leg semi-final. Aubameyang scored a hat-trick in last night's match to send Arsenal into the finals. Aubameyang scored goals in 17th, 69th and 88th minute. Gameiro also scored 2 goals for Valencia, one in the 11th minute and the other one in the 58th minute. Lacazette was also on the score sheet for Arsenal with a goal in the 50th minute. Chelsea and Arsenal will now clash in the finals of Europa Cup on 29th of May to lift the title. This is the first time in history that 4 teams from the same country are playing in the finals of the European tournaments. Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool are also clashing in the finals of the Champions League. And that's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur TV HD for more news and entertainment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.